All right, I literally have just enough time to read one more email and get my ass out of here, pick up Sarah before she finishes up work without being late. I'm never late. And then I gotta carry on getting my other stuff ready. But listen to this one, you guys. Hi, Steve. First of all, thanks for listening to people. I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say thank you. And you are very welcome, and believe me, it's not a hard thing to do. All right? And thanks for emailing me. I don't want my name mentioned, but I feel the need to share two of my experiences. I have others, but these two stand out. First, a little background on me. I was literally raised in the outdoors, and have always thought of myself as an experienced hunter, fisherman, and all-around outdoorsman. I have spent the majority of my 49 years of life living in the swamps of southeast Georgia. My mom actually killed a huge 8-point while being 5 months along pregnant with me, so maybe I love the outdoors instilled by her. I don't have a memory as a child of nothing but hunting, fishing, camping, or just enjoying the outdoors. Now that my love for the outdoors has been established, I will also include the fact that when these experiences occurred, I was in my 20s. I was competing in martial arts tournaments regularly and was generally full of myself. After all, I was a 20-something-year-old martial artist who tipped the scales at 220 and stood 6'2", strong as a bull, won regularly, and probably a lot more confident of my abilities than I should have been. Number 1. We were raccoon hunting in an area where a small creek ran, and adjacent to it was a church that was said General Sherman tore the pews up. Alright, gonna let this plane whip by. It's a loud one. There's no way you can't hear this plane. We were raccoon hunting in an area where a small creek ran, and adjacent to it was a church that was said General Sherman tore the pews up to make a bridge for his wagons and supplies to get across. Next to it was the old cemetery. I walked the dogs partially down the trail towards the creek. They went ahead of me, and approximately the time they arrived at the creek, one or two of the 4 dogs let out a shriek of pain or fear, not sure which. I took out towards them, only to be met by all 4, tails tucked and running for the truck. I ran to the creek to see what could have scared them. It was dead silent. No sounds, so much so that the hair on the back of my neck stood on end. I got out of there in a hurry. What could have scared 4 of the grittiest dogs that I have ever owned? What could have scared 4 of the grittiest dogs that I've ever owned? Why was it so deadly quiet, and why was my spidey senses on full alert? Part 2 may shed some light. So fast forward a couple years later, I had married. And to say it was a mistake was an understatement. One of the nights my ex-wife decided to go completely berserk, I decided it best for me to leave. I went to the only place I found solace. That was the swamp. I've been sitting there in my truck, trying to get a grasp on my bad life decisions and downing some Jack Daniels. That always seems to help. LOL. Actually, it's a big mistake during those times. When something seemed to be watching me. Now mind you, it's 12 a.m. or so, no moon and no artificial light other than the radio on the dash, but it felt like something was watching me. I dismissed it and took another swig of old Jack. I sat there with a truck full of weapons. I wasn't leaving them with that psycho. When all of a sudden I could hear a weird sound. I quickly turned the ignition all the way off to kill the radio and listened with intent. There it was again, only 30-ish yards from me. I grabbed my old M1A1 30 carbine, 30 caliber, with the folding stock. They called it the Paratrooper. It had a 30-round mag of those tiny little 30 caliber bullets, and off I went to investigate. Bravado at its best. Remember when I said that, I may have been a little too self-confident. As I neared the trail that I had cut by hand, it called again. I can't explain why, but it was saying, "Come see me, what I am, or I need help." Not literally, but it was as if I couldn't help myself. It was a sound I'd never heard before, and it sounded almost like it was in trouble. I started into the bush with the small handheld flashlight and stopped to listen. Softly, there it was again, right in front of me, but sounded as if it was above head high. I'm 6'2". I proceeded cautiously. I got to what I felt was less than 10 foot from it, and the hair just stood up on my neck. Something deep inside of me snapped me out of the curiosity state I was in, and I went into deep, burning dread. No sooner than this happened to me, a god-awful semi-roar, semi-shriek was right there. Boom, boom, boom was my reaction. I didn't have time to think. I just fired directly above where I thought it was. I wasn't trying to kill it. I just wanted to go away. It went crashing, and I took out towards my vehicle. Thank God it didn't pursue me, but why? Did it scare it? Who knows why it didn't try to grab me? All I know is that I showed up at a buddy's house all wide-eyed, and his response was, "Ready for this? Do you believe me now?" Why, yes, I do. He's the only living soul I've ever shared this experience with until now. I was always ashamed, thinking I had just imagined a swamp booger or something another. You have convinced me that I can trust you after watching your channel now for a long time, and your content is the topic of conversation with one other guy I know who has had a face-to-face not more than 300 yards from where it happened to me. I hope you get a chance to share it with others. I didn't get to see it, and I am convinced that it is a blessing that I didn't. I've had several stories told to me in the conference from another guy, a straight-up, no-nonsense kind of man that I never told or mentioned to that I'd had an experience. I'll respect his wishes for not sharing, but if he comes around, I'll be emailing you with 2 more hairy encounters. I hope this finds you well, and I hope I didn't drag it out too long. God bless Steve, and keep fighting for honest people who have been made to live with secrets too scared to share. P.S. I still enjoy the outdoors and refuse to let it keep me away. Hope it doesn't end me up on a David Plaitis episode. LOL. Please withhold my name. Thanks. All right, man. And thank you for sending that in to us to share with us. And I probably said it every single time I read an email. You're not alone. And what you experience has been experienced literally thousands of times. All right? And the best thing you can do, obviously, is to talk openly about it. Don't be scared. Just don't be scared. Humans being scared of humans is one of the absolute worst traits that we all have in common. It's a real sad fact that humans are scared of humans. Why humans are scared of ridicule? I guess I kind of get it, but I don't get it because I'm over it, and I'm not myself, obviously. But if I can figure out the correct recipe to deliver to all you people who are terrified of ridicule, believe me, I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to get it to every one of your asses because it's wrong. And the dirty, sleazy bastards who do not want the general public to know all the facts and all the knowledge of what's going on this planet, they are probably absolutely giddy that the majority of us are insecure and scared of ridicule because they use that as a tool to control us and suppress us and keep truths hidden, right? But anyway, what else can I tell you guys in confidence what I feel about this? I can tell you in confidence that if you are someone who's curious with this topic, you may even call yourself a researcher by now. And if you think that you are pursuing an animal, you're wrong. And if you think that this has not been proven to society, you're very wrong about that too. It's already been done. If you think that placing trail cameras around the planet is going to help this cause, it's not. It's been done tens of thousands of times. It's not going to help. They outclass that. That technology is basically probably an insult to the intelligence of these beings. All right. So, but if you want to learn more, if you want to get up to speed with the facts, keep watching, and more is coming. Be safe out there. I've been in the shadows of the Sasquatch community since the beginning of the internet. I've been on all the Bigfoot forums, talked to all the big names, went to the conferences, done my own independent field investigations. You name it, I've done it. I've known about mostly everything that you are sharing with the world regarding Money Grabber and all of his cronies. All the big-name Sasquatch teams and all the bullshit they pull. The con jobs, the discrediting, the sanitizing of information, the bullying, all the drama. I've distanced myself away from it all while keeping an eye on it over the years. I've had my own run-ins with them, and I've seen so many people used and abused and silenced. There are some good people who aren't all fucked up who try to be a light in the Bigfoot community darkness, but I've never had the stomach for it. I'm much more interested now in the whys instead of the whats and the hows of Sasquatch and the Sasquatch community. Why do people have encounters and not others? Why are most of the people in this community are already narcissists or becoming narcissistic after getting into the community? People look for support and answers after their experiences, but either get sucked into being an expert, starting their own group, or buying into the mainstream bullshit, then becoming filled with drama and attacking others who see things differently than you do. Why do experiencers either completely isolate themselves and tell no one, or they go the opposite direction and become an egocentric asshole who wants to be the one to finally answer the Sasquatch mystery? It is, for the most part, one giant shit show. The TV shows, the documentaries, many of the conferences, and even most of the recent books. There is a real reason why this is all suppressed and oppressed. I think there are definitely forces at work that seek to make Bigfoot researchers and experiencers and the Bigfoot community as a whole to fill it with drama, lies, misinformation, disinformation, and in some ways consume people's lives. Many people who are invested in their Bigfoot research or trying to find answers are completely consumed with Bigfoot. It becomes everything to them. They live it, breathe it. I've seen people lose their minds, their bank accounts, their jobs, and their families, everything, to finding Bigfoot. At least that's what it seems like on the surface. I tend to think that there are soul lessons for people who have encountered these amazing and sometimes terrifying beings. It's almost like, here's this experience, this encounter, now how are you going to handle it? What is it trying to say to you? In some ways, I think that there is a deeper meaning behind these encounters, like we have encounters because there is a deeper lesson to be learned if we are willing to learn it. I'm not trying to get all spiritual here, but encounters with these beings are almost like a trial. Will we be overcome by them? Will we be swept away with the surface of things? Will we see the deeper meanings these experiences give to us? I think there may be a bigger reason why these beings appear to some people and others they do not. And those who do encounter them, the information about them is withheld or twisted so that these deeper individual lessons cannot be learned. We get swept away with all the bullshit. Sorry, I just don't have anyone else to talk to about these things. I don't have any friends who are into these matters. I guess my point is that I love what you're doing and I support you 100%. Cheers, my friend, John. Well, and there you go. If that isn't probably one of the more interesting and what I might even call exciting emails that I've received to date. If I could read that one email to all of you once a week, I have a feeling, and everybody would just listen, I have a feeling that a lot more answers would come out, a lot more of these fraudulent sacks of shit would get kicked to the curb instantly, and we will all be filled with honest knowledge. And that's my take on that one.